It is the NFL Spread Pod. We also call it the Young Guys Pod. I'm Holden, got Titletown and RubioDimes. Before we get going here, if you looked at the last show, poor Rubio, definitely struggling. One of the comments said, blonde guy is shook. There was noise outside of your house. I don't know where you are today, Rubio, but boy, you were shook. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm 100% okay. Yeah, I'm actually in my own apartment this time. I don't think I'm ever going to go to the deep depths of my apartment ever again. I'll just call it hell. It's just not a fun place. Same with entirety of Louisville. But we're taping this midday. I got Champions League on. I got football on my screen, the real football. But I also got some NFL action ready to talk about. So should be a fun show.
No, you disgust me. The real football. You're just saying that. It's so wrong. No one cares about soccer. It's soccer, man. Do you know how long? Like my dad said when he was growing up. This is 70-something years ago. He's like, hey, when I was growing up, soccer was supposed to be the next big sport. And then I was growing up, soccer was supposed to be the next big sport. And it's still not the big sport. It's America. We don't give a shit. Unless we created the sport, this country doesn't care about it. Football, baseball, basketball. That's the three biggest sports, and we created them all, Rubio.
Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it. Never again. Never again will I bring up football.
You look like you got a little halo over your head, too. There's a light back there, and you definitely look you look angelic. Hello, my friend. You've got a green shirt on today. What's going on with that shirt, please? Packers!
Yeah. It's a big win. Had to rep the Packers coming off that big Sunday night win.
Let me ask you this, then. After week one, they're in complete disarray. Then they play a horrible half against the Lions. And now the last 6 quarters, they look like one of the best teams in the NFL. They're a lot closer to this last 6 quarters, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they got Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. I mean, okay, not a good defense, which is the big concerning part. But you got Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. You got Lambeau Field. You're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think they're going to be okay, too. Anything in life you would like to discuss before we get right into this, or do you just want to get into things today? I mean, the old guys always have shit to complain about. You guys don't seem to have as much to complain about besides you know what? Title, it's you. You don't complain a lot. Rubio complains all the time about Louisville and picnics and everything else. But anything else going on in your lives today? What's happening, boys?
I want to ask Rubio, first of all, I can't believe he said that on a football podcast about soccer and football. Second of all, I wonder, Rubio, has your week gotten better since last week? Because there was a lot
better.
Of good.
Much better. I should have shipped Showdown. I went gold over Crosby. That cost me about 5 figures, and then came super close to busting open the main slate. It became a first profitable weekend where it was absolutely profitable. So I'm happy. If there was one thing I can complain about, maybe, saying we're going to start a pod at 3 and then waiting till 3:20. But hey, I'm not a complainer.
Shut up.
I'm not a complainer.
It's not my fault. It's freaking Mangone, man.
Mangone always wants to rush out of the show on Sunday night.
No,
you want to tell me that he wants to stay for a show here?
He was just nonstop, man. Nonstop. You guys getting a little fall weather yet? We got a little fall weather here in Denver. It's awesome. It's time, right?
Not today over in Wisconsin, actually. I was outside. I was outside getting my basketball workout on in shirtless. It was 75, 76, Gross. Sunny. It was beautiful outside.
Why did you go shirtless?
I always do. I like getting some sun on my body. Yeah. I don't know. That's if it's in your driveway.
Do the ladies like it? Do ladies ever come up to you in the driveway?
In my driveway, no.
No, they don't. Hey, I just got some news here. We're taping this on a Wednesday afternoon. Dalvin Cook went back to practice, so we could talk about that as we get ready to go here. Like button, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, like button, and then there's that little red subscribe button. It's got the triangle in it. I don't know if it's isosceles or sideways or whatever, but hit it. And then that's one thing. Thank you for listening. And second of all, as Rubio was mentioning before the show started, make sure you listen to the Wishbone podcast with Uncle T and G. Risen and JT Hayes. And JT, none too happy about Daughter Day and Sunday is all I can say. Did you guys celebrate that since you are sons of other people?
No.
My dad didn't even say I'm proud. No, I'm kidding.
Of course. Has he ever told you he's proud of you?
Oh, yeah. Every time. Every day I see him.
Yeah. Not so great. All right, let's get into the slate, boys. Titletown is big slate. Nice big slate. Love it. Quarterback. And boy, is Josh Allen the man this week? I'm probably going to have another Stafford lineup. You know, I play Patrick Mahomes lineup every week, but we'll see if that goes. Thoughts on Dak Prescott on a short week going up against the Carolina team that had 10 days off? Who are some of the guys early in the week that you're looking at right now, Title?
It's always a Josh Allen week, so definitely like Josh Allen. I had Mahomes in my tournament lineup last week as well. I full game stacked that. Can never go wrong with Mahomes. So, yeah, I agree with that too. On DraftKings and FanDuel, I mean, it's a little different. DraftKings, the pricing at quarterback, there's more merit to paying down. Like Justin Fields at 5,200 definitely is in consideration this week against Detroit. Whereas FanDuel, even though he's 6,400, it's not enough where I pay down at quarterback really. FanDuel, I like Josh Allen. Jalen Hurts on both sides, 7,900. They're going against the Chiefs in the same game. They're going to have to keep up with Mahomes. Jalen Hurts just had an awful game. He still got you 25 DK points. Like, we know his floor and his ceiling are there. So, love Hurts. Dak Prescott, 6,700 on DraftKings. Carolina's not a defense I love to pick on, but this offense is so explosive for Dallas. So, sign me up for Dak Prescott. You get a $1,300 discount from Allen to Prescott, which goes a long way. So, up top's my favorites, Allen, Prescott, and Hurts in the mid-tier. And then Justin Fields. I didn't have any of them last week. I know some sharp people did, but I'll hop on this week at 5,200. Rubio, I know, was on him last week. I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
Oh, I fell off the wagon. Actually, Sunday morning, it came up and it's like, there's just no logical. Like, I was actually becoming more and more on the Browns defense, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, there's no point. You have Stafford right above him. You have Daniel Jones right above him. And I just ended up opting like, hey, I'll just kind of give it time. Thank God I did. The fact that, the Rams offense has been absolutely clicking and that they have big play ability. We just saw with, Deshaun Jackson and Van Jefferson in week 1 and stuff. Like that game, every game they play is going to be on my radar. And when Kyler's the third most expensive quarterback, I think it's kind of hard to get away from him. And the best part about him, we always say it on these shows and stuff like that. I don't think he's shown what he is fully capable of on the ground. He scored on the, a rushing touchdown in each of his first 3 games, but I think he has more ability to run for 70 yards and maybe, 2 touchdowns on the ground and stuff like that. And it's going to go right in with a late game stack. You can, have weapons to put around him and then have your run backs with the Los Angeles. But I do like that whole entire game. I like what you said about Hurts. Despite whatever you think about him as like, having arm talent and stuff like that as a quarterback, he always gets it done in garbage time. And that whole last game was garbage time. Maybe the whole game against the Chiefs could be garbage time for the Eagles as well. So he definitely has the ability just to, run and, throw, of course. But it's going to be hard to kind of get away from, Hurts or Kyler or Stafford for me if I have to go down a little bit. There's one guy that, I don't mind the price tag on him a little bit. But Sam Darnold, 6K, they are slinging the ball at just like an unreal rate. He's had over 30 attempts in the first 3 games, and they've actually, they've competed very well in all the 3 of those games, and I think they should win. I would honestly bet the Panthers here money line against the Dallas Cowboys. They're 3-0. I think that offense clicking, even without McCaffrey, I don't think it's, a world loss, and I think they do everything through the air. So Darnold against a weak Dallas team, I love it.
Yeah, and you know what? The Dallas team is kind of a pass funnel too, because we've actually seen them perform a lot better than I thought they would be against the run, And then you got Chuba Hubbard back there. How much are they going to end up throwing? So that's not a bad look at all. I don't know if Darnold was really on my radar this early in the week, but he definitely is now. Title, anything else that we can look at here? Justin Fields is not an option, right? He's just not.
I mean, he's in my cash consideration on Wednesday.
It's Detroit, though. I mean, Detroit's bad.
I know
it's
they are.
5,200.
Hold on.
Pricing's tighter.
What's worse? Matt Nagy, who has not even said who's calling we don't know who's calling the plays this week. He probably does. Matt Nagy, who's a completely clueless head coach. We still might see Nick Foles. I mean, I'm not even kidding here, guys. I'm not kidding. Like, Nick Foles could be the quarterback. So who's worse, Matt Nagy's coaching or the Detroit Lions play? That's it really concerns me, man. It concerns me with Justin Fields, but you're not concerned. You think there's a floor.
I mean, I don't love it, but he's also 5,200 taking on one of the worst teams, and it'll get me a Devontae Adams. It'll get me whatever else I want. If I want Derrick Henry and stuff. I mean, I didn't play him last week. I thought last week was a little crazy. I saw some pros play Justin Fields in cash last week. I thought that was a little crazy. I didn't even consider that, but now he's got a game under his belt. Now they can scheme a little more for him. Gets the Lions 5,200. I mean, you look at it, Josh Allen's 8,000. That's $2,800 that savings gets you in cash games. Yeah, I mean, I think he has a floor against Detroit.
Okay. Anybody else you guys want to bring up, or are we ready to move on?
I always keep my player pool short, so okay. I listed 5 guys. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm having a little bit of interest in Matt Ryan just because I think Pitts and Ridley are due for a big week. I think they're ready to unleash it. We saw Daniel Jones carve up this Washington team too a couple weeks ago. I know it's not the most appetizing play in the world, but I think if I'm going to compare him after being a Fields fanboy last week, where you can get Matt Ryan for 200 more, I think I'd go that route. But that's just like personal. If Fields actually runs the ball this week, he's definitely cash viable. The thing is, you can't guarantee that, especially after how they, after the play calls they had, week 3.
Yeah, I think now that I'm looking at it, and you kind of made such a great point with Darnold. I don't know if I'm going below Darnold this week. I just don't see it. I don't see anybody else. Let's see here. Teddy Bridgewater, Daniel Jones against a tough New Orleans defense. Heineke at Atlanta. I mean, maybe Heineke at Atlanta, but you were just talking about Atlanta. You know what, too? Heineke's got 21 and 23 DK points last 2 weeks. I'll throw Heineke in there. Why not? He can run for 20 yards this week. That's not a cash play whatsoever. But if you haven't seen it already, there's a clip going around. I think it was Marcus Spears, one of them, just ripping this Washington defense. The defensive line isn't getting any pressure because they're all looking for sacks. The secondary is a complete disaster, and now they're not getting enough of a pass rush. So just know that things change very quickly in the NFL. 3 weeks ago, most people were saying the Washington defense is elite. Now what, Title? You're doing this. It's
just like on our preview show before week 1 with Hoop and Mangone, I said, get different. Last year, same thing with Jacksonville Jaguars. People thought they were one of the top 3 defenses in the league. Turns out weeks 10 and past, everyone was picking on the Jags every single week. We don't know at the beginning of the year if teams are going to be – I mean, Washington's supposed to have one of the best front sevens. Their defense has been awful. I mean, we don't exactly know how teams are going to play and perform, and now we've got a 3-week sample. I don't think Washington's going to be as bad as what they've shown on defense, but I agree with you. I don't like Matt Ryan, so I'm definitely not going to ever play a dusty Matt Ryan or Ben Roethlisberger in my lineups, but – I hear it. He's 5,400. Washington's been bad. He has Pitts. He has Ridley. I get it.
All right, Rubio, if that hits, feel free to come on the show and remind us.
He's going to get off on Sunday morning like he did with Fields and be smart. He knows better.
Well, I'll probably just go Darnold or Kyler.
Let's put the whole glue factory together. Roethlisberger. We'll throw Ryan in there. Wentz with no feet or ankles. Just throw them all in the glue factory.
Yeah, Big Ben should have retired 2 years. Last year he shouldn't have played. Yeah. This year I don't know what he was thinking.
Too, man. He has everything's been broken on his body multiple times. He's not gonna be able to walk.
He's not a 21 quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he's a 2000 quarterback. It's crazy that he's still playing.
RPS Heater 25% off your first monthly installment when you sign up for Run Pure Sports. The DFS side, our bet side is amazing too. If you already got a subscription, Get Bets is the code. They'll get you the bet side. I just did a show at Keg. More great plays. Can't wait to win more money from just tailing this dude and talking things out with him. And actually, the show I just did with Mangone and Keg, it is picking winners. And that actually helps you with DFS. Mangone's handling the DFS side, but Keg will give you some insight, too, that might help you out. So look for picking winners. If you already subscribed to our YouTube channel, and if you haven't, hit that and hit the like button, and we're all happy. Rubio, we might not have Julio, and we might not have A.J. Brown, and Derrick Henry is going up against the Jets. At 8-8 on DraftKings, and now he's involved in the passing game on top of that. This is scary, man. Do you have to build around him this week?
Kind of similar to the point, the past couple of weeks and stuff like that, where people aren't spending up at running back. And I think that kind of maintains throughout this week too. Title mentioned it a little bit earlier. Pricing is a little bit tighter this week. I think, if AJ Brown and, Julio Jones miss, I could easily see everyone gravitating towards Henry, and then Tannehill all of a sudden throws 3 touchdowns to random guys like Chester Rogers or whoever kind of fits their builds and stuff like that. Because I think I would spend down at wide receiver there in that case. Maybe if Firsker misses, you can even make the case for Swaim or Pruitt. But basically, for the most part, I really, really like Henry. But I'm not making it a huge priority to get him. Same kind of with Kamara. He's right next to him. I think I'd rather have Henry over Kamara all day. But it's hard to ignore it. The Jets are just absolutely awful. That the Titans are going to be playing ahead the whole game. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to avoid spending up, but we'll see what happens come Sunday.
You buying into Saquon? Just as a larger discussion, not whether you're playing him or this week, but have you seen enough out of him to say, oh my God, this dude's due for a blow-up game?
Yep. I am on Saquon. The snaps are back. The talent is there. I'm a big believer in the Giants still. I know a lot of people hate Danny Jones, and rightfully so. I think I saw a stat, 13 passing touchdowns in the last 17 games. It's pretty awful. But I'm still a believer in this Giants offense, and as long as Saquon's below 7K for his talent and usage, I'm all for it.
Okay. Hey, Title, what are you doing with Derrick Henry this week in cash?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot can still change. It depends what you're doing at quarterback too. Like if you don't feel comfortable with Fields, and I have no clue if I'm going to go Fields on Sunday. He's in consideration for me, but it's only Wednesday afternoon. If you're going Fields, he's definitely going to be one of the options that I might be able to get to. If I'm going to go up to a Josh Allen or a Hurts, I highly doubt I play Derrick Henry because, there's a couple mispriced guys you're looking at. David Montgomery, he's 5'8" in the same game. Mike Davis, same game as Fields, that is. Mike Davis, only 5'1". CEH is 5.4. Antonio Gibson is 6'1". Chuba Hubbard is 5.9. Like, I just listed 5 guys that are RB1s that can actually break out. And Rubio's saying how most people, sharps, have paid mid-tier at running back. I haven't paid up at running back on DraftKings all year. So maybe week 1, I think I played Kamara maybe. But either way, there's so many good ones in the mid-tier. If they both miss and I go Justin Fields, Derrick Henry is definitely my favorite spend up at 8.8K. But I'm not jamming them in since there are good mid-range options.
Let's get into those mid-range options then. We've got David Montgomery taking on Detroit. That's kind of pretty. Don't mind that. Antonio Gibson against Atlanta. There's another one. We just had now, I don't know if this isn't a cash play, but DeAndre Swift. Campbell came out today and started talking about he's getting more work. They're going to start giving this dude more work. So there's a lot of different ways to go in that mid-tier title. Give me a couple of names.
Yeah, no, the 3 you just said for sure. Gibson. I love Swift.
And Melvin Gordon.
No. I hope Melvin Gordon keeps doing good because I have him on a lot of best ball teams, but he's not. I'll probably never roster him in DFS. CEH, Mike Davis, David Montgomery, Chuba Hubbard, Gibson, Swift, Najee Harris has the biggest role of any running back this year. Doesn't come off the field at all. FanDuel, a couple different prices on both sites. FanDuel, Jonathan Taylor is only 6'6". Aaron Jones is only 7'4", whereas you got Derrick Henry at 10.2 and Kamara at 9K. So I lean Henry on DraftKings. And I think the sites did it right because you rather play Henry on a FanDuel where touchdown equity means more. But you also, I don't want to pay $1,200 more for him over Kamara or stuff like that. We're on DraftKings when it's a $400 price difference. Just give me Derrick Henry, not all day there, but this week I think I'm Derrick Henry. So depends on the site. I still don't mind Jonathan Taylor at 6'3" or something. As far as Saquon, he's just going to be a matchup and a price play for me every week. I still think this Giants offense is a little struggling. I like Daniel Jones, but they don't move the ball like some of these other offenses. Saquon just doesn't have the line to give him the holes that some other running backs do. So this week I won't be playing Saquon. I had 100% Saquon in cash last week. Just going to be a matchup and a price play for me.
Yeah. You brought up Hubbard. He outsnapped Royce Freeman 40-11 last week. So that was big. Montgomery to me really standing out. 6 red zone carries. He's also a guy that's on the field just all the time, 82% of the time. That's That's a ridiculous rate, isn't it? Rubio, what do you want to do here at running back this week? What are some of the names that are standing out to you so far this week?
Mute.
Title hit the hammer on the nail there for the most part. I mean, that's just the mid-tier is just so loaded. I mean, I'm having a hard time getting away from Edwards-Helaire, especially after we just saw Zeke and Pollard just have their way against this Eagles defense. They're going to be protecting against Kelsey and Hill, and the whole time Clyde will have that, that space to run. We saw him hit 100 yards. I want to say this is kind of illogical. I don't know if it's completely true, but it feels like the first time in his career that he's hit 100 yards and actually had a touchdown in there, which – good for CEH. It's about time that we've actually seen a little bit of talent from him. But it kind of gets me excited. 5,400 yet again. People were all over him at 4,800.
I can't do it.
What do you mean?
Unless they throw to him, Clyde Edwards is just, man, he just doesn't get it done.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like, he's the same price as like Javonte Williams and shit. And like, if you can just say 3 catches and 30 yards counts as a touchdown, like that's where I'm trying to put myself in the fact there. Like 3 catches and 30 yards is a touchdown in the books. It's 6 points.
I got him at 14% in tournaments last week.
It's crazy.
It was just still at 4,800. Like people just overthink it. Like, granted, he might not be the most talented running back. He's busted so on. He's in the best offense. They're not looking at him. And he's not that bad. I mean, look what he did at LSU. Like,
but in tournaments?
Yeah. I mean, I stacked Mahomes, Hardman, CEH, and ran it back with Keenan. And it was fire. Like, CEH has that upside for sure.
5,400 too. It's not like he's 6'8", 6'7".
Yeah. I had a little bit of him last week. It was nice to see, but I'm kind of going back to wanting to see more at this point. He fumbled. And Andy Reid still gave him. I mean, I
was pissing down my leg when he fumbled. I was pissing down my leg.
And if he went right back to him there, like, you gotta feel good.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rubio. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. No, I appreciate it. But like Chuba Hubbard, like you said it before, he outsnapped Freeman, and Chuba looked awful those first 2-3 series right after Calf went out. I think it's just such a shock after being a rookie. It's your first kind of real, meaningful playing time. And the fact of the matter is, he was a beast in college. And I think the fact, I'm a big fan of this Carolina offense as it is, and they pass to the running backs. It's not going to be something that, McCaffrey's out, we're not going to throw to the running back. And you saw it happen with Mike Davis last year. He became a perennial, top 10 RB1 for the most part. And Chuba Hubbard here, you saw 5 targets in 3 quarters of action. I just think this continues to trend upward. I'm a big fan of him, had a lot of him in best ball too. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy he gets the opportunity. Cap's one of my favorite players. I'm actually real sad that he's hurt, but it'll be a quick return for him, hopefully. But another guy I want to mention
real quick, though. Just one more thing on Clyde Edwards. He has fumbled in back-to-back weeks, Title.
Yeah, and that's why I said
not just one leg. Like,
I know, and he's still playing.
So
he still played after the second fumble last week. He came in and put up 80 extra yards rushing and scored.
Yeah. They're pot committed. They're pot committed at this point. A number 1 pick. Mahomes wanted him. Like, you can't just bench him. I don't think. I like what Andy Reid's doing.
They invested so much in him. They just got to keep playing him. Keeping with that game, Miles Sanders 6,400 was not used at all against the Cowboys. I think that the coaches kind of make it a point to get him the ball this week. It could be something that flies completely under the radar, but I think they could force feed it, whether it's through the air or through the ground. I think that Miles Sanders could definitely have some merit to him this week, but that's tournaments only. I'm not going to even touch that in cash games at all. But I think you kind of hit everything else. Maybe I'll spend a little bit of time. I know I'm a David Montgomery hater. They did not use Damian Williams last week. That is absolutely disheartening to see, especially with how bad the offense performed. I'm a big believer at under 6K that David Montgomery is perfectly all right this week, and I'm probably going to gravitate towards it quite a bit.
Okay, there you go. There's your running back breakdown. Let's move over to wide receiver. It just seems like there's been a lot of mid-range value on DK in a lot of positions, right? Running back, wide receiver. Well, I mean, that's the 2 big positions right there. So here's a guy standing out to me right off the bat, taking on Atlanta. Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, about to go off. They got CeeDee Lamb priced down at 6.7 against Carolina. That doesn't really make sense to me either. Deebo Samuel, 6.5 against Seattle in a game that a lot of us think is going to totally go off. 5.8, Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, listen to these guys. Cole Beasley with a floor against Houston, I mean, he'll get you 15 PPR points. I think it's more of a cash play there. So, and that's just some of them, guys. Like, Rubio, I'll let you start with wide receiver then. All those guys that I just mentioned are going to be in my pool. And we haven't even gotten down to the 3K, 4K guys. So a lot of value. And then up top, I wonder, is it just as simple as, let's go back to Devontae Adams because he's 7'9" and it should be 9'9"?
See, this is another thing where it's hard.
Did he just totally? You're on mute.
I'm not on mute.
Oh, you're not? What did he do? We're leaving this on, by the way. We're not even taking that out. But is there anyone that struggles with technology more than Rubio? I mean, seriously, he's like a 90-year-old guy. He just said he's back too. Dude,
he's gonna be all red.
Yeah. What are you doing, Rubio? What are you doing?
I'm telling you, I'm using a backup computer, right? And sure enough, the thing just shut down. There's a reason why this one's the backup. It's running on a clunky wheel. The keyboard's kind of shot. But waiting on my MacBook
so fast, and it was the computer's fault. Okay, so wide receiver. I don't know how much of that you heard, but please, by all means, start going down.
I heard all of it. So basically, another thing here where we don't want to spend up for wide receiver, in my opinion, this week. It's kind of similar to the running back. If I spend up for Derrick Henry, I certainly can't spend up at wide receiver.
No.
And I think you said it right at the jump. Odell Beckham Jr., 5,800. He's going to be one of my favorite guys to look at. He's going to have all the target share in the world there. It's going to be a great game script too. I think he'll be a little bit popular, but the fact of the matter is, like, Odell Beckham is a beast. Those 9 targets last week were not a fluke. I could easily see double-digit targets again. Sticking with, my Carolina love, DJ Moore, 6,600. He's the clear alpha there. 31 targets in the first 3 weeks. Darnold's, its favorite. It's kind of like similar to Cooper Kupp in a way. I think it's very similar production and stuff. We just haven't seen the absolute price jump where he's 7,800. But I think DJ Moore could definitely be, find himself being a top 5 wide receiver by the end of the week for sure. I like your CD Lamb touch up. Cooper's didn't look good. I know he had Darius Slay on him pretty much all night on Monday night, but those wide receivers for the Cowboys struggled. Great bounce back spot. It's a game that I'm a huge fan of, as you guys already can tell. I'm kind of looking more towards the mid-tier and stuff like that. Robert Woods, 5'3". I think that there has to be some positive regression his way. Cooper Kupp has, been scintillating, but, a 2,500 price difference. I kind of want to go back to Bobby Trees, Robert Woods.
So here's a guy titled Mr. Cashman. Adam Thielen has 4 touchdowns in 3 games. And I think it really depends on if you think Kirk Cousins is going to stay on this tear at home. 25 touchdowns his last 9 home games, so about 3 a game. He's only 6'8" on DraftKings. I might even like him more. Well, he's getting the targets, man. 10, 7, 9. Catches 9, 6, 6. Touchdowns 2, 1, 1. Can we give Adam Thielen a little bit of love here? I know it's always Justin Jefferson, and KJ Osborne had a nice week a couple weeks ago. Hope you didn't play him this week. We told you don't play him. But can we just give some love to Adam Thielen? The guy is a stud.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's just a little overshadowed by a little bigger stud on the other side of the football field is how I look at it. Obviously, I'm the biggest Justin Jefferson guy. I don't mind it, but I'll pay the $500 more for Justin Jefferson every single week. But you can't go wrong with Adam Thielen. Very good football player. 6,800 is a good price. But looking in that price range, like, give me DJ Moore all day at 6,600 over him. Give me Deebo Samuel even at 65, I think. Give me CeeDee Lamb at 67. Receivers actually stacked. I disagree a little bit with Rubio. Like, I like paying up for one of the top guys. Devontae Adams is too cheap. 7,900. He was in the 9Ks last year. He's absolutely going to go off. But Cooper Kupp's right there at 7.8K too. And I'm not jumping off the Cooper Kupp bandwagon at all. He's by far wide receiver 1. Absolutely been printing. So Cooper Kupp or Devontae, I think I'm going to want one of them in a lot of my lineups. I agree with Robert Woods, 5.3K. As much as I do like Kupp, that price is just silly. Like, I don't think it can keep going the same way it's going. Robert Woods is going to have to do something and perform a little bit. He burned me last week. I'll go right back for 5.3K. Amari Cooper, 6K. I like that price tag a lot. These Dallas receivers, Dak's playing really good. I think Carolina tries to sell up for the run a little more. I like these two to bounce back and have a good day. Mid-tier is absolutely loaded. If you like Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley at 7K has to stand out in tournaments. We know how his explosiveness. If he has time, I think Calvin Ridley can absolutely eat out that secondary. So I'm probably not going to really play Ridley because I don't like Matt Ryan. I'm just going to go to a Justin Jefferson, a Devontae, Cooper Kupp, something like that. But Calvin Ridley definitely has the upside.
I'm just trying to dig up something here, guys. Let's just say, again, Julio's out along with A.J. Brown. Chester Rogers, Westbrook Akine, and Racey McMath. Can you believe there's a guy named Racey McMath? And Josh Reynolds. Would you let me just say that last week, Westbrook Akine had 4 targets for 53 yards and a touchdown at 3.2. You know what? I just talked myself out of it. Figured I'd bring it up, but I just don't know anywhere else to go on this Titans offense besides for Derrick Henry. Just all Derrick Henry all the time.
How often have we seen the Titans, send a chalk Derrick Henry, absolute smash spot, and Tannehill pops up with 3 passing touchdowns. Henry gets 1.
To who?
Like, that's the thing, though. It could easily be to these scrub tight ends or scrub wide receivers. You don't need much. You're playing for the touchdown equity, I think. I don't think you're playing for any floor. But it kind of goes similar to the fact where you look at the Giants, they got 3 guys who are potentially out this week, with Slayton, Shepard, and Golladay. And you could also make the case for Kadarius Toney or Colin Johnson and stuff like that. There's going to be spend down options, it looks like. It's just that none of these spend down options are going to be completely trustworthy. And that's like a little bit of a concern. But, I kind of speculating, I can see why Title is going down to Justin Fields in cash just because of the fact that he wants to spend up for maybe Henry and maybe Devontae Adams too.
I'm not for sure doing that. Just let you know, it's Wednesday, but it's a consideration.
I can see why your build dictates that. Yeah, it's like or the reasoning behind your build dictates that because nothing is set in stone. I love Justin Fields on Wednesday last week, and I completely fell off of him on Sunday. I know that definitely, I would not be surprised if you pop up with Josh Allen in your cash lineup and maybe you spend down. So. It's just like one of those things where I can see where your construction is for every right reason. It's just like, damn, it is a lot to spend up on. One last touch up because you mentioned the Green Bay defense hasn't been that great. Big Ben is dust, but you have to think that if Juju misses and Deontay, potentially stays out, it could be Chase Claypool again. And Chase Claypool came so close to having 100 yards. He had over 15 targets or something like that. I think if you're kind of playing that maybe Big Ben isn't quite dusty just yet, even though he absolutely is.
If you're playing that he's not dusty yet, just don't play DFS or
the 425 stack though. I mean, it's going to be sick having Chase Claypool and Devontae Adams in the same game. I love stacking these late games. I tell you, I kind of learn a little bit more.
Give me Najee Harris over the Claypool in that stack.
Did you see Tomlin actually came out and said, like, it's something that it's always on the table. It's not something they absolutely want to do. But he didn't say, like, oh, no, we never want to do that. It seems like Najee could definitely be a candidate for double-digit targets if they're always trailing. So it was good word.
He said he wasn't changing anything.
Yep.
He goes, the defense is or the offense is not performing. I'm not changing anything this week. Okay. Keep doing the same stupid things you do every week. Then you're gonna lose.
19 targets. Can we just talk? We talked about it a little bit. I know you mentioned him, Title.
He can't throw deep.
19 targets.
He has to dump the ball off.
Can't move. Can't throw deep. Najee Harris is there every single time.
The guy's a Hall of Famer. Listen, and he was good before you guys were even born. So
I was gonna say that shows how much talent has evolved in this world too.
Well, I mean, he was a
Lamar Jackson back in those days. Come on now.
Yeah, probably would not. He wouldn't have got. They would have said, "Oh, he's not accurate enough. We can't use him as a quarterback."
But you saw run. Speaking of last week, man, he was slinging it across the field. I mean, Hollywood absolutely destroyed him with the drops and stuff, but Lamar was dropping dimes. He's looking dangerous from the pocket.
That guy was more like freaking Lansing, Michigan than Hollywood, California, man. That guy, he was so bad. He was just
Lansing,
3
Michigan.
drops, man, and 2 for touchdowns. What are you doing, Hollywood?
Hurt my DFS lineups with Lamar in them, I'll tell you that.
I just want to mention AJ Green went for over 100 yards last week, and I remember hearing Dusty about him.
He is dust. He is dust.
Again, I'll bring it back. Like if Hopkins is bothered again, they're not gonna target Hopkins very much. They're gonna go to the other guys.
Hey, I'll say it right now.
I'll
say it right now. Hopkins is not a top tier wide receiver in this league right now.
He's the best wide receiver in the league.
No, he's not, Holden.
He's not even top 10.
Tweaking. You're both tweaking.
He's
Holden dies on.
He's the second best wide receiver in the league.
He's not even top 10.
Shut up, Rubio.
I would say
I literally have no other comeback than shut the fuck up.
What? What do you mean?
It's one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard in my life.
He can't get open. He can't create separation. There's a reason why Kirk and all these other guys are doing well, but Hopkins is kind of being mediocre.
Because he's seriously injured, ding dong.
Seriously,
I don't even want to talk to you anymore.
Where's his questionable
someone else
tag?
that can do this podcast?
Where's his questionable tag?
Huh?
If he's seriously injured, where's his injury designation?
I mean, now you're just trolling. Now you're not even believing
I'm serious. I never thought highly of DeAndre.
So what is he? So he's what 15th best wide receiver? Deontay Johnson's better. He has more catches. So let's throw Deontay in there.
Yeah, I would say Deontay Johnson easy.
Yeah. Who else? Who else is better than DeAndre Hopkins?
Let's just go through the list here. I take DJ Moore. I take Brandon Cooks. Chase Claypool, Mark Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham. The list goes on.
In DFS or in real
He's got him at like 25.
Yeah, top 20 is not 20 or 19. Maybe 18.
I don't know how you got this job.
I mean, what's there good to say about him? Sure, he's been hurt, but he slowed down last year. He has 13 catches on the year.
Well, listen, I'm going to give the guy – he had a pretty damn good season for being in a brand new system and a brand new team.
Holden was saying a wide receiver one.
For these guys, star receivers go to new teams and often do not perform well. He was hurt in that Minnesota game late, but to think that he's not one of the elite wide receivers in this game, I don't even believe you. I think you're just trolling us. So that's fine. Last thing I want to bring up, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. So the routes, Kupp 95.82. The targets 32.18 Kupp. So there's the connection there. We all want Robert Woods back in the mix. It's not happening right now. The ADOT's a little deeper for Woods, 9.4 to 8.8, but the air yards. Cooper Kupp's got 281.6 air yards, 169.2 for Woods. So well over 100 more air yards.
You got to think defenses are about to start keying in on Kupp because it was 1A, 1B preseason. I mean, Woods was being drafted over Kupp in a lot of drafts. I was Kupp. I have a lot in best ball. But, I mean, defenses can't keep letting Kupp do this with Woods. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is a Woods week, but I love both. This offense is so fun to take both receivers with.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if Darrell Henderson's out again.
Yeah, or Higbee. Higbee's fun to take too.
Oh, yeah.
Van Jefferson at home, I think, is a guy where they're going to start looking at him. What are we doing with Deshaun Jackson then? Is this a 1 week thing, or do you think he's going to get 2 deep shots a game?
I'd only focus on Woods, Higbee, and Kupp personally.
Okay. Rubio, since you think Van Jefferson is better than DeAndre Hopkins, do you want some Van Jefferson this week?
I mean, Woods and Hopkins have had the same targets. Kind of shows that they don't have the trust of their quarterbacks. Anyway, so Van Jefferson. I do like Van Jefferson more than Deshaun Jackson. I'm not a big fan of the big play, one-time wonder guys. Deshaun got his 24, but it was a tough 24, an improbable 24, most would say. He
will pull a hamstring here sooner than later. Might be this week. I mean, it's coming. Deshaun Jackson hamstring week is coming, and then it'll last about 2 months, and then he'll come back and he'll hurt it again. So get your Deshaun Jackson in now while you can, people. Tight end. Before we get to tight end, RPS 25, RPS Heater 25% off first monthly payment. We give you the playbook where our best analysts give you all the guys that they're on. We give you the core plays where all you got to do is fill in 3 or 4 spots in your lineup. Our analysts give you the best players, the best lineup they have, and they throw it in there in the core plays. And now, to really make it interesting, they threw BigT, JSU, and some other guys' player pools, like the whole player pools that they're using. So all you got to do is look at the core and try and mix and match the other way. It's spectacular stuff, RPS Heater 25. Okay, tight end. Title, will you ever get up to Kelsey? Hawkinson coming off a tough week. He's got Chicago this week. We already discussed Higbee a little bit. Hurts loves the tight end position. He's been going to Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is 4-8 this week. Just 4 targets, though. Ertz kind of sniped that touchdown. And is there any Tyler Conklin love this week? Plus Dalton Schultz. I got to throw his name in there at 3.4.
I personally won't be chasing the Dalton Schultz game. Everyone sees it on prime time. I talked about it kind of with Derrick Henry, too. It's just not something I really do. I love Kittle at 5.9. I think that's a misprice. Kelsey at 8.1. I think it's very viable this week. Stronger play on FanDuel with the touchdown equity with how the pricing is. But I like him on DraftKings a lot. Tyler Higbee, 4.6K. I'll go right back to him. If I'm going to go cheap, the 2 guys that are catching I guess 3 that are right in the same range. Cole Kmet at 3K. If I like Fields a little bit, I'm expecting him to do something. Cole Kmet, his price tag, I would go there. Gerald Everett at 3.2K. Expect the Niners try and take away DK a little bit, lock it a little bit. Wilson likes Everett a lot. He's only 3.2K. Don't mind that price tag. And then Evan Ingram at 3K as well. Just trying to be on him before the field's on him. I was high on him this year. Daniel Jones, and with all these injuries for the Giants at the receiver position, I think they'll need Ingram a little bit. So if I'm going all the way down, Everett, Ingram, and Kmet, Higbee in the mid tier, and then I like Kelsey and Kittle a lot.
Kelsey and Kittle too. What do you got here, Rubio? What do we want to do with tight end?
I just want to mention that I gave Tyler Conklin, week 1 love, and I was slandered for it. And then all of a sudden here in week 4, you're like, any Tyler Conklin love, like it's all up.
Did you call it? Because I didn't hear you say his name last week.
Oh, yeah, I just said I gave him love, and you guys hated on me for that.
You said week 1.
You burn your hand on the stove. You take your hand away from the stove. You don't.
You said week 1 again. You liked him, not week 3.
I'm just saying. He's good. He's a good tight end. But
yeah, I remember.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, I remember back in 2003 when I said Tom Brady was going to be a Hall of Famer. Let me throw that one out there too.
You're absolutely right, Holden. You're good job.
Things in the past.
Very good job. I'm proud of you.
Who you got a tight end, smartass?
I kind of like title is called Gerald Everett. I kind of like looking at spending down at tight end this week. But if I do spend up, I like Kyle Pitts again. I know a lot of people are trying to find the buy low game on Kyle Pitts. Last week, he's getting the snaps. The targets were there in the first 2 weeks, and last week he just completely fell off the cliff. I mentioned that I kind of like Matt Ryan a little bit. I think Kyle Pitts for 5K and the potential role. I mean, they got to showcase him. You see what Jamar Chase is doing for the Bengals and stuff like that. This is a pick that was very much in the conversation. I think they got to get Pitts going a little bit. I know coaches don't really care about the on-field product as much, or the on-field statistics as much as the front office, but I think this is Pitt's time to shine. They got to get it going right away. George Kittle, last week, it was the last drive that propelled him to victory, but he has not ran good on touchdowns this week. If you're kind of looking to spend up 5.9, I think the 2.2K price dip from Kelsey is absolutely noteworthy. And if there's anyone who's able for an 11 catch, 200-yard game, Kittle's definitely in the cards there, and he's 5.9K. So if I'm going to spend up, it's going to be those 2 guys. I'm not going to touch Higbee. He got all his statistics in the first quarter and then absolutely did nothing. I just think that the Rams offense kind of works like that, where, it's so easy to get away from Higbee. They're going to just go to Kupp or Woods or even Deshaun Jackson and stuff like that. As much as, his price has finally crept up to 4.6, where I'm not going to touch it. Last guy I'll mention, just because he's in the mid-tier range, Noah Fant. He had a first two good couple weeks. The price came back down after being at 4,800, went down 500 here. So Fant, he's got the trust of the quarterbacks, good red zone guy. So big fan there.
When Josh Gordon is finally on the field, are you guys going to roster him just for shits and giggles? Rubio, it seems like something you'd do.
Yeah, I think I'd roster Josh Gordon just because of his immense talent. But I think he's a big fan of ganja and emojis. Speaking of emojis, by the way, how did your emoji thing go the other day?
I mean, I got to tell you guys, thank you very much for your help, because I kind of felt like, so there's a little water thing and a flower thing that I got from a girl. And I was like, the water thing I kind of get because we were getting all sexy and frisky, but the flower thing, it was what got me, Rubio. I didn't know what that was. Like, she was definitely turned on with the water thing, but I don't understand what's going on with the flower. What is that?
Water my flower. I don't know. Like I said, it depends. I don't know the person. It could be
it's good. Literal. It's a good thing, is what you
like.
said.
You think about it. Is she smart?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe she said she's ready to fertilize or something like that too. Like, you never know.
There will be no fertility. I made sure of that. Yeah, I never want another kid. 2's enough, buddy. Yeah, 2's enough. That's all I could say. I told Big T this when I met him the first time a couple of years ago. I was like, dude, I got a vasectomy and that my balls hurt for 6 weeks. And I guess 1% of all guys have a balls hurt for 6 weeks. It was miserable. Like, it was horrible, man. Not good. Yeah. Title, thank you for the help. Do you think that was good news for me too? Like, I'm in?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what the flower really meant. I don't let people.
Rubio said it was a vagina, to be honest.
No, I said like some girls refer to like, their pussy as like a flower.
Have you heard? Is that a new thing? Title?
It must be. I mean, that's kind of like what
you guys don't listen to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Like,
no.
No,
I just watch videos of DeAndre Hopkins highlights, and I also Holden say wide receiver 1, and you say
6 to midnight there.
There's a person that named herself Aquafina. What's up with this? Freaking water? Am I just gonna start naming myself? Hey, my name is actually. I do have a cousin named Shasta, so I guess like you can just name him after any type of beverage, right? Pepsi. Yeah. We'll see a Pepsi out there soon. These names are just Aquafina. What are you doing? Who is this person? Is she a singer or an actress or a comedian or what? What is Aquafina, Rubio? You seem to know this stuff.
I think it's a singer.
It's a singer? All right. Okay, guys. Wonderful to see you. Hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the Run Pure Sports channel if you're listening on the podcast. Give us a nice review. That would be awesome. We'd appreciate that. RubioDimes, whatever. Title, great to see you. Appreciate this. I mean, you started this show off saying that the real football was not the real football. So it was hurtful. I don't know why you would start a show like that. Do you want to take it back?
Yeah, I'll take it back. Yeah, just purely because of the fact that I apologize to you guys. That was so uncalled for. I just had a 2% goal in my best lineup. So I absolutely could be feasting. So I'll make sure the good mojo remains here in the show. And maybe it leads to better success here in about, 20 minutes time. So,
all right. Good to hear. Take care, Title. We'll see you later.
Have a good one.
I'm Holden. Simon, get us. Why would you do that, Rubio? Get us out of here.
Taking the victory lap here with our boy Big T. Massive takedown PGA last night. Shipped the Millie.
The Twins got the job done for our boy Hoop. Won him $100K. Won him a live final seat.
JSU shipped $200K on, I think, just $1,000 worth of entries. He had a monster night.
Anytime we see members crush like this, we're excited.
Last night, one of our most loyal subscribers from the beginning, Jay Love, took down $20K.
I want to give a shout out to Redmen, who won over $50,000 on opening day.
Blind Bandit took down the $100,000 top prize.
We had someone win a live final seat.
It was one of those days where it's like going 5x or 10x on your money. It wasn't enough to get enough love in the Discord.
Record 62 took down the Millie Maker.
I don't even know if this heater's ever going to end.
Some of these other sites are just boring you to death.
I like how other sites nickel and dime you for every penny they can get.
Tons of the members have given tickets and membership on their own. Like, we're not telling them to do that. They're just doing it for good mojo.
You love to see it. We love the good mojo. And
the mojo is what the mojo is. I give you credit for still having that happen. We appreciate it.
Wait till we ship tonight. I might never take it off.